You guys want me to show you the different areas?
Good afternoon.
Some of you guys have asked me questions recently about like different areas. You guys want me to show you how good he is at farming various TC-87s? I'm not going to show you Ancient Tunnels because I know for sure that's one of his bad areas because of the magic immunes. However, I'll show you some other ones here in a second. That might be a decent ring. I don't know. No water. No. I want to drown. Kappa. Okay. I'd like to see some Baal and key farming. Okay. How about I just go through the game here? Let's do a high level, high farm tier overview farm here. You guys can see how strong he is. Remember, it's level 43 teeth, so keep that in mind. If I had 4 less skills, I get significantly weaker. So, yep. Solid glug. Solid! Thank you. Alright, so we're gonna go through the pit first. I'm also gonna do Blood Raven so you guys can see me farm Blood Raven. Blood Raven, this character doesn't have any natural speed boost though, so I don't know. Should stop checking the boots, but I am curious. Archers will fuck up my durability for sure though. Yeah, I don't take durability damage on this character hardly ever. That's a good sign. My boots ain't gonna break. Check out my build, by the way. Type exclamation S2HC Necro or copy paste it from the stream title. Very first command. There's also other cool commands from highlights recently. You can also check out exclamation S2 highlights if you want all the highlights from season 2 so far. And you just want to peruse those. Of course, they're also on YouTube, most of those highlights as well. You can see the our journey here in Season 2 on Hardcore. We found some tasty, tasty items. It's okay, how you doing? I'm probably using a wand, yes. I'm using a Bone Shade, which is a weapon that gives 7 to teeth and 25 FCR, and 2 necromancer skills in general. Also, since I rolled 35 FCR on it, if I get some FCR corruptions on certain items, I can actually hit 125. Or if I just get a amulet that also has more, get 125 FCR, which would be insane. Build's not even at max power. We're only at the 75 frame. Definitely not anywhere near max power, but it's still very solid at this point. Alright, there's some nice rings. So as you can see, he levels the pit. Like, he levels the pit, you know. We got 200 MF about, and he levels the pit, you know. I can put more MF on if I wanted to, but for the pit, honestly, you could stack a lot more MF. It's not that dangerous in Players 1. Alright, so let's go do one of the key farms. Someone asked about that one. We're kind of just going to do all the farms you'd probably care about in this character. Ancient Tunnels is definitely the worst possible 85 area on this character, so don't touch it. It's just going to be a waste of time. Also going to just annoy you. Solid build, yeah, it's solid for sure. I like this build. And when I tested it on beta, I knew I wanted to make one of these at some point. I didn't think I'd be making it so quickly, but you know. She found some P&B skillers and she died, so. Right, so Alright, she didn't drop a key, but as you can see, pretty solid Blood Raven kill there, so you can definitely farm the Terror key pretty nicely. I wouldn't bother farming Countess. Too hard to find everything there. You could farm that pretty well. Also, we just found a 19 life small charm, which is actually pretty sick. Alright. Got one more life there, sweet.
Greetings.
3 to Shockwave. Damn, if that was 2 to Shapeshifting, that would actually be pretty cool. Fortunately, it's not. I think we're at the point in the ladder now where we need to start finding some really good stuff. The differences are the monster type. So the Pit's got good spread, lots of low HP enemies, has no magic resistance, it gets destroyed by something like hammers or teeth or poison. Ancient Tunnels gets destroyed by fire and cold mostly. It has a lot of magic immunes, it has poison immunes, it has some fire immunes, which is why cold is even better for the most part. It also has lightning immunes in there. So the differences are the monster types. They both are level 85 areas. They both spawn, I believe, the same number of average elite packs as well. So good stuff in general. Alright, so those you could key farm in there. You can do the Pit. You can also do Stony Tomb pretty well, I imagine. So I'm going to go do it real quick, if you really want to. Stony Tomb is another 85 area. At least in this mod, it's not like that in vanilla, so. I can find the damn thing. Damn, you're out leveling me already? I'm about to be level 90, yeah. Once you start crushing out maps solo, like it's levels, man. XP. I'm near the top of the Necromancer leaderboard pretty soon, probably. Just keep farming some of his items if you can find. My goal is not really to only level the Necro though. I'm gonna want to start new classes at some point. I might revive the Sorceress. I don't know if I'll do it first, but Sorceress definitely needs reviving for sure. I definitely like to farm on the Sorceress. It really sucks that we lost her like that. Hopefully we don't lose her like that again. He is vulnerable to things like that, though. Sorceress was always the character that got closest to dying last season for me, too. Even though she never died. So, I don't know. I might have problems with Sorceresses this season. We'll see, though. We'll see, we'll see. I like my Sorceress, though. So, as you can see, Stony Tomb is no problem whatsoever. Mostly lightning immunes in the Stony Tomb. So as long as you're not a lightning character, probably gonna do pretty decently in here. Smashing it, yep. Oh, traps in? Yeah, like fire traps in or destroy in here for sure. No problem. Almost everything's immune to lightning in here. And then there's some that are highly resistant to poison, but that's about it. Trapson can do this even better though, because she has burst of speed, so. Yep. It's pretty good stuff, so there you go. There's Stony Tomb. So Stony Tomb and Pit are solid, so is running Blood Raven. Looks pretty solid to me anyway. This is another 85 area too. Maggot Lair. Maggot Lair should be pretty solid on this character too. The improved corridors. So we'll go through another 85 area here. People have been asking me kind of what does this character do well, so I'm kind of going through everything here. Regular cows, yeah, I can show that off too. Yeah. Pretty nice in general though. Kind of just showing off all the areas he's pretty good in, ignoring the ones he's not. Once again, Ancient Tunnels is not good on this character. No, I should make this a YouTube video, actually. For the Bone Necro. And then after this, I should go into the maps that he's good in, and then do the maps. At least tier 2s and tier 1s. I don't know about tier 3s, but... Soloing tier 3s is kind of... not as necessary anyway, but... Well, you can always get more XP, I guess. I know for sure River of Blood is not going to be good for him in tier 3s. I know that for sure, so... This area is pretty solid for Bone Spear in a lot of ways. Bone Spear is really good in Maggot Lair. Teeth is also good too, depending on the spread or depending on the area you're in. Right here, the T spread's nice. Okay. Jump over the wall. You know what? I think I'm going to upload this. Actually, I'll try to clip it out. People are like, ah, yes, this is what Bone Necro can do. Okay. So Bone Necro is really good in all those areas. Remember, Maggot Lair is also an 85 area now, not just Stony Tomb. Well, there's some other solid things he can do too, though. I'll show them all, though. Honestly, because he does magic damage, he's very solid in most areas in the game. There's some maps he's not amazing at, but... he's pretty solid in most of them. Cows is not incredible, but I did Blood Moon. It's okay, but I don't know if it's really his strong suit. Lower HP enemies, I think, are a bit of a better thing for him to target. Blood Moon, I think, would be fine if you had, like, an OP Trapson or something, though. Well, it definitely took a while. I noticed that map took almost 40 minutes. Partially because of its size, but... that one took a long time. Oh, swearing? Okay. Swearing can get you demonetized? What? I mean, maybe if it's a kid's video, why would that get you demonetized? Interesting. I didn't know that. So you can drown yourself in water. Yeah! Fun! Fun, Mirage, let's go! Zon is a wholesome company. people ask me about Bone Spear though. I notice I'm using Bone Spear more often in here. Remember, Bone Spear pierces, Teeth does not. It also does about 1.5k more damage. Even with Bone Shade, which gives even more points to Teeth. Teeth has a skill advantage, but it's still doing a lot less damage. So, yeah, you can kind of see that in here. Once the corridors get narrow and the monsters stack behind each other, like, Bone Spear becomes very good. And obviously for single targets, that's where Bone Spirit really shines. Yeah, just gonna want to use this like this. Jump over to the other side. Use some Bone Spirits and Cold Worm. Oh, he only died in like one Bone Spirit, actually. That's how much damage they're doing now. Oh my goodness. Whoa! And during this YouTube video, we find a Vex Rune casually. I'm actually going to pause here, just going to clip that out. Alright, cool. Alright, well, there you go. Vex out of the super chest there, where the staff normally drops. Okay. So yeah, clickables OP. You know, we've made videos on that before. Always the clickables. Clickables are insane. If you want an easy way to make wealth and you don't want to worry about dying or being too weak to farm an area, hit up Lower Kurast. Just hit all the bodies, skeletons, chests, baskets, everything. Stashes, bodies. Yep, and then of course, you know, any random chests you find anywhere else, including super chests. Super chests are a bit better, but when you have random maps like online here, it's not a terrible idea to focus just hitting any clickables you can possibly find. Alright, so Arcane's not that ideal, actually. Some people might think it would be pretty good. Like, Ancient Tunnels isn't good, but the Ghosts have a lot of magic res. I can just show that real quick. I'm not really going to do this whole area. But you can kind of see how it takes a bunch of hits to kill them. It's not really ideal at all. That being said, though, it's not terrible. I mean, you could maybe run it. This is one of the reasons why Horazon's memory is decent, but it's not amazing. There's a lot of those kinds of magic amines like that. Yeah, I'm going to go over the gear, too, and I'll go over the skill tree at the end as well. Right now, I'm going over all the areas he's, like, strong in, kind of going over, like, what he farms. So I'm going to make, like, a Bone Necro YouTube video here. He's got decent gear at this point. I mean, he's not like fully geared or anything. Doesn't have an anti or a torch. He's missing a skiller. He's missing the skiller that would go here. He's definitely missing some things, but he's pretty well geared. I mean, he definitely could be better geared for sure. Like, I don't even have a lidless and swap, but we'll go over the gear in a second, though. Let's not focus on that just yet. All right, so another area that maybe you want to hit up for mass density farming because of the spread on teeth is Flayer Jungle. This is a nice area. Now, it's not a high area level, but you can drop high runes in here, 100%. Alright, so Vex Rune. Keep in mind this is a hardcore Necro, so when I go over the build, it's important to talk about kind of like why he's built the way he is. On Softcore, you definitely can build different. You can get 125 CR a lot easier as well in Softcore without worrying about dying. So, go over some things here and there, but, you know. But you can see though, this is a solid area to farm though. The teeth hit everything, like absolutely everything. Not an 85 area, it's only a level 80 area, however, it's solid. Because of the density, it's not a terrible thing to farm. So you can definitely consider the Flayer Jungle here. Get my revives back up just for good measure. So, yeah. Nice, that's cool. Hardcore barb going up, sweet. Burr from Crystalline Passage. Wow, Iron Man, that's amazing. Found a Vex on a random mob in Worldstone 2. Sounds great. Alright, so this is another thing that... I mean, obviously, any character can do this, but this is what I was just talking about. I mean, that's kind of how I found the Vex rune, so... I also found a Burr rune on here. We definitely have a video on the Burr rune already, you can see from clickables, but yeah, it's pretty nutty. Burr's the highest rune that can drop in here. Low would have been the highest rune that could have dropped from the chest where the Vex just dropped here in the Maggot Lair. But you can see though, clickables are really strong, so you know you can always hit that. What I'd recommend though is going Vigor Mercenary though, so go Act 1 Vigor Mercenary if you want to do this particular farm on a Necromancer. So I run really fast even without Vigor, but imagine if I had Vigor, it would actually be pretty nice. So you can do this with the Necro as well, but I would use a different Mercenary if I really wanted to go for this. On a Sorceress, obviously you have Teleport and you have Telekinesis, so you don't have to worry about Vigor, but this character doesn't do too bad though.
Good day.
Alright, here we go. Alright, Travincal. So, this is where my Sorceress died. She's a Crash Bug. I don't know if this character is amazing for hardcore Travincal, but I do have 80 Fire Res and I do have a Dwarf Star on at the moment, so... just for extra survivability mostly. So... you can definitely see this here. Not too bad. I mean, if you get a Dwarf Star, you get some maybe Inferno Strides, or in my case, I'm actually using Gheed's Fortune. Well, you know, Travincal is always an amazing farm for sure. Travincal is OP for sure. Look at that, Gheed's Fortune just coming out. Easy mode. But yeah, I also have a 5% max res on my F water walks that I corrupted for MF, so got that as well. Alright, let's go ID this Gheed Fortune here. We got 38. Well, what do you know? I've already, that's a huge upgrade there. We're finding some good items on this demo here. Damn. Holy moly goly! Holy moly guacamole. Nani! That's all I really have to say to that. Alright chat, if anyone wants a free Gheed's Fortune, come to game Toad6 password 555. Let me know if you need me to grab that for you. It's a 30% MF Gheed's. I don't really care enough to transfer it at the moment. Or really period most of the time. I just found a 38, so I think I'm going to keep the 38 over that. That's a really good roll. 38 out of 40. Wow, everyone's just... holy guacamole. Okay. He's not really much of a good boss farmer, like, unless you get, like, max blood warp, that's very dangerous in hardcore. I'm not gonna demo farming Mephisto or Andy because I feel like this isn't really your best farmer for that. It's something that does much higher single target DPS, like a Sorceress, is probably gonna be a lot better for those kinds of farms. But yeah, Travincal's solid, as you saw, I melted Travincal, no problem. Can definitely do a Travincal power farm with the Bone Necro. The other farm that's definitely stands out to me is, who got the Gheeds, by the way? Who actually got it? Let me know in the chat here. Who actually got my Gheed's Fortune? Got 205 MF now, by the way. Ah, Puntio, nice. So we actually do have over 200 MF officially now. Very nice. Got us a couple of extra MF frames there. I think specifically it got us to 2% more unique magic find. Very nice. They're gonna help us find more GGs. Erdars are amazing for revives, by the way. Obviously, Death Lords would probably be the ideal one, but get some Urdars in the River of Flame, it's amazing. This is one of my favorite farms on this character, though. Magic damage in general in Chaos is insanely good. You might know this from Hammered in an LOD. Also does magic damage. Shreds Chaos. Chaos doesn't really have a lot of resistance to magic damage at all, if any at all. Really easy shreddage in Hell Chaos. Hell Chaos has our Stormcasters, which are ideal monsters for dropping runes, charms, gems, jewelry, shards, and things of that nature. And of course, there's a ton of uniques and a lot of like elite monsters, and there's a ton of super uniques as well. And between them and their minions, really good drop odds. Also, you get Diablo. Doesn't hurt to do boss farming. And since there's a lot of good elites in another 85 area, River of Flame, on the way to Chaos, you really don't waste much time, so long as you also farm the elites in River of Flame going up to Chaos. So this is probably the best boss farm for this character, period. And I'll go over some other ones too, but this is definitely probably what you're going to want to farm though, boss-wise, once you get a decent Bone Necro going. I'll show you guys a decent setup that we have, just barely over a weekend to the Hardcore Season 2 ladder reset, for PD2 as well here. Is it worth Worldstone Keep worth it for Baal? Well, Worldstone Keep is also an amazing area. I'll show that off in a second here, though. Worldstone Keep is probably one of the other areas that's solid. However, you can roll Guardians, which can be magic immune, so it's not always a cakewalk in Worldstone Keep. It's okay, though. Which is why I prefer Chaos, personally, for this character, but there are other characters that can do that very well. That's meaty. Nice. Oh, congrats, Pintio. Alright, Chain Gloves. Okay, so as you see, that was a very clean run. Very clean run. You just level Chaos. Once you get like 40 plus teeth, it just levels Chaos. Like, even before that, it's pretty strong in here. Even without like a ton of plus skills, so as long as you got your fire res up, especially if you get some fire sword or like max fire res in here. The other thing is that Diablo is a joke for this character. Bone Armor combined with max block on Tring Shield, combined with the fact that I have so much fire res, means he almost can't hurt me. Like, the hose does lightning and physical damage, and it can be blocked on top of that, and so it has to get through the Bone Armor, and then it can be blocked. And then the Firestorm does nothing if you have some extra fire res. Literally is a joke. Very easy farm for this character. Highly recommend Chaos. Very good stuff in general. Alright, so next up, I think we should probably go over... I guess we can go over... I know for a fact that key farming Halls of the Dead would be bad. So that's one of the other H keys that's a non-teleport area, quote-unquote. Also, Arcane isn't great either, so I don't know how good this character is for H key farming. I'd say it's probably pretty bad because the Guardians are magic immune in there. Sometimes they're just lightning immune, but it's not going to be great. I mean, you could probably do it, but also those narrow corridors kind of like constrict you, and then you can't teleport in there. And it's not like a Frenzy Bard that runs super fast, so I personally might avoid that. You can maybe make a H key farm work in there, but I wouldn't try it. Chaos is a 85 area, very ideal for farming in general. Some people like to farm Shenk and Eldritch. As you can see, Eldritch just melts once you get damage up. Alright. So does Shenk. No problems, right? No problems. Easy. And I just leveled to 90. Cool, I leveled to 90 while demoing this character as well. Very cool stuff.
Yes.
Gets us some more HP. Put another point into Golem Mastery. Overall, though, still waiting for 5 Golems. Gotta get to level 94 for that. As long as I want 1 point amp, that is. I don't have to have the 1 point amp, but I do like it. I think it helps for single targets. So Pindle's skin also gets melted once you get a lot of plus skills, but you gotta get a lot for him. He's only like 30 is gonna be pretty hard to kill, so I make sure you get like around 40 plus skills before you start messing around Pindle. Also, you might want to stack more MF for that. D-key farming. I do D-key farm. I'll show you guys Drifter Cavern, which is another 85 area you guys might be interested in. Oh, that's right. No teleporting in here. Very cool. Okay. So now we are level 90 on this character, and we have 205 Magic Fund. Not bad. Very careful for these infidels. Even though I have max block and bone armor, they can eat through everything very fast. I've been caught off guard almost many times by them. Their damage is pretty absurd, pretty obscene. That's right, he still can't teleport in here. I feel like they can disable the teleport thing in here and just keep it Halls of Pain personally, but because I feel like that's gonna be the annoying part. You know, whatever. Alright, so once again, Bone Spirit for single targets. You can also hit him off screen. And look at that, he died. And he dropped a D key. Nice. So that's one of your key farms there. Honestly, he doesn't do too badly at this key farm. With this gear, you'd be pretty bad at the Izual one, so I don't even know if you should try.
Hello.
Izual one would be pretty nasty, I think, because you'd probably want, like, Thunder Gods. Maybe if you had a Wisp Projector and maybe stacked Light Res, you could get away with it, but yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to get to, I think. As you can see, though, you can off-range Nilly, which is nice, because he won't Corpse Explode you if you hit him off the screen with the Spirit, so that's actually kind of nice. So he's pretty neat. He's pretty good at that. He's got some... You can off-screen him. Easy stuff. I wouldn't say he's the fastest at that, though. Once again, unlike a Frenzy Barb or a Charge Paladin, doesn't really run through those non-teleport areas super fast. I wouldn't say he's like a top-tier key farmer. That being said, though, you can definitely farm all the keys, especially Blood Raven and Niliflock fairly effectively. And if we go into here, oh wait, we can find the Drifter Cavern, which is another 85 area. The cave is an 83 area, so Torture does pretty decently in here. I don't really know why you would farm it over other areas, but I guess if you want some variety. Not too bad. That's where I found my Vex Rune and Nightmare. Cool. I did not hear anything about that being bugged, no. Okay, so... I guess I just got bugged out? Dang it, we're definitely gonna need some timestamps for this then. F! Okay, let me see if I can get my character out of jail here. Server dropped. Very typical stuff here. Damn. Is it actually bugged? Like, for real? Is it actually bugged? Okay, well, we're gonna wait for a little second here. We can get back in a couple minutes at the very least, so... Wow. That's rough. Bye-bye Vex. Honestly, that stuff happened a while back. It shouldn't have rolled back that far. Definitely shouldn't have rolled back that far, but, you know, we'll see. I'm gonna log all the way out here of my launcher and see if I can log back in. I think the Gheed should be fine too, personally. That definitely was a while ago. Oh no. Okay, yeah, we're fine. I even got the D key too, so it actually didn't roll back very far at all. Okay. Didn't lose much progress there. Vex Rune is still there. Okay. I mean, that stuff was like almost 5 minutes ago, like 10 minutes ago. I should be fine. Normally when it rolls back, it's like a couple minutes. Maximum like 3 minutes. I think that's I am level 90 still too, so that's cool. Barely though. Alright, let's continue showing off Drifter Cavern here. Drifter Cavern OP. Alright, yeah, it's not as bad as it used to be. Server jail, you just have to kind of log all the way out, log back in, log in with some other characters, and then usually it resets. But it was really bad before. Now the jail lasts for about 3 to 5 minutes. That's definitely tolerable, but not amazing when that happens. I don't know. How would 3-piece towels be bugged? I really hope it's not bugged though. I hope it's not. So as you can see, I mean, there's definitely some high HP monsters in here. But if you want, you can definitely farm this area. Very good for farming, very good. Another nice 85 area to pop out. It's very small too, so it's easy to do. I would say, honestly, I'd prefer Chaos to any of those other areas anyway, including the one I'm about to do, which is Worldstone in Baal, which is the final LOD area we're going to go over with the Necromancer. The Bone Necro. This hardcore Bone Necro's done a good job coming back up from nothing. That Sorceress had a terrible, terrible run-in with a crash active god. That's even a thing. But it's okay. As you can see, he does really well on Worldstone, especially if you don't get Guardians in here. Guardians are by far not ideal in here. They're pretty rough to deal with. Yeah, they're pretty rough to deal with for sure. But then again, you can just amp them and you can like blood warp on top of them with amp. That's what 1-point amp is good for. It's for clearing out magic immunes. 1-point amp isn't amazing in this mod, but you know, it does help. And when your mercenary does a decent amount of damage, which you know he's currently doing at least almost 3,000, so that's pretty good. Yeah, he definitely levels Worldstone as well, so as another like top level area in LOD. Solid. This is such good ability. Single targets, use the Bone Spirit. They're in a line, one behind another. One after another, just use Bone Sphere. Like here wouldn't be a bad spot to use Bone Sphere. That said though, you could also use Teeth. Alright. Alright! Hey, Sharpie, what are you looking for here? Alright, let's get here to the end, and we'll get good. We'll get going on it. Okay, we got Small Charm, nice. You've definitely found some really sick items on this full game demo here. I mean, all these areas are solid for this character, so I guess it makes sense, you know? We're doing a lot of farming here. But still... So you don't necessarily expect to find stuff that good all the time. Alright, sweet! I'm a level 74 Trapson. Feel like I'm lacking the gear to push safely. Do you have your res gear, like Ancient's Pledge? Did you craft some claws, maybe? Did you farm claws? Did you farm, craft some safety items? It's boring? Well, yeah, farming cows can get boring, or any area, honestly, after a long time. I don't know what your level of your gear is, though. The key to moving into Hell is making sure those reses look decent, and making sure that you have at least like 1-point Cloak of Shadows if you're on a Sin or Shadow Master. Just make sure to stay behind them, you know. If you don't have a lot of DR, you can even get Fade if you want DR on top of that, like DR and res. Bursts of Speed typically is more efficient, though, for trap lane. And then you don't need it on your gear as much as well, but it's not... if you really want to be safe on a Sin, like, Sin is one of the safest classes, period. So many good options. You don't even really need gear, to be honest. Gear is kind of optional. You don't do any damage on a Trapson? Farm Stony Tomb. Are you a Fire Trapson? Farm Stony Tomb. Okay, so these have a lot of magic resistance. Not really the most ideal monster to go up against, but that's okay. They have Bone Spears too. RIP! Okay. Alright, so really the only Baal wave you're going to have problems with on this character is wave 2. But on Players 1 it's not even that hard. All you really need to do is just get your golems and revives. Golems don't do a ton of damage because you're not getting the synergies, but I'm still doing pretty decent amount of damage at the very least. 1400 isn't nothing, and if you add that times 4 plus the mercenary, you actually get a lot of damage there. So these are all magic immune, but as you can see, my golems and my mercenary made pretty short work of them. I cannot damage them with my bone spells whatsoever. That's okay. I'm gonna go over all the gear at the end of going over the areas at the very least here. Alright. Stuck at Meph in Hell. Mephisto isn't really the best place for a Trapson in general. If you don't do any damage in Hell, farm LK clickables and farm for those small sharms. And get lucky from the bodies and whatnot. The pops. Stony Tomb is good though. Stony Tomb is great for a Trapson, by the way. So yeah, for a fire Trapson. You can also do Maggot Lair effectively as well. And then, of course, once you get to the end of Hell, you can do Hell Cows very well, of course. So now you just amp them, let my Mercenary and the rest of them kind of do some extra damage there. You want to use Bone Spirit, it does more damage than any of the other abilities. Once again, just like I used against Diablo. Diablo is so much smoother than this, but, you know, Baal's okay. Want to farm some Baal? Go do it. Alright. So, that's pretty good there.
Salutations.
Alright. Now we can do a map demo. One of this, he does certain maps pretty well. I've definitely tested a lot of maps on him, mostly tier 1s and tier 2s at this point. Plegethon is one of his better maps for a tier 2. For tier 1, Bastion Keep tends to be pretty solid. I really like Bastion Keep. Bastion Keep is pretty solid map overall. This one even has some magic sword, but you can do it anyway. Want to start mapping, definitely make sure you have your defensive capabilities up, all of them. Also make sure your damage is at least halfway decent. Okay. Let's kind of demo how well he does a map here, so we're gonna sit back, relax, and do a map now. His LOD areas, though, it's pretty much a full overview of like how strong he is at various areas. Some of the ones I didn't go over, he's not very strong at. Wouldn't bother doing them, but you know, you can do it if you want. Even Ancient Tunnels, if you really want to torture yourself. Whatever you want. The golems and the mercenary can carry, you know, they can definitely carry. I like those physical damage monsters as my vibes. Big physical damage dealers, pretty ideal in general. Make nice meat shields. They get out in front. As you can see though, Teeth excels very well at this map. It's almost the perfect width of the teeth. This character, in some ways, you can almost say was designed for this map. So as a tier 1, this is definitely his best tier 1. There are some other tier 1s he's decent at, like Runes of Vizjun. He's also decent at Horazon's Memory. Won't be going over those ones, but I can do them just fine. Struggle a little bit with the boss, though. Ooh, nice. I struggle a tiny bit with the boss in Runes of Vizjun because of all the magic resistance and how tanky those skeletons are. And Horazon's, the boss is no problem, but there's also some magic resistant monsters in there, so not 100% ideal. Yep, that's the perfect quote. How did you know? Be careful on hardcore. Once we got auras over here, some of that range can do absurd damage. They really start get going on you. Ow. Mal Rune, wow. Yeah, these runes are going very well today, I would say, overall. Mal is Vex already today. Very solid. Solid stuff in general. Cool. That's one of the reasons you do maps right there, is density farming is so good. XP is amazing too, but the density farming is so good. I haven't even updated all those drops yet, Cordano, but yeah, we're doing really good, man. How you doing, Cordano? Alright. Shiori. I know, everyone wants me glug water! Yeah, glug water, right? It's good. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna demo his best map here. Then we're gonna go over the skills, stats, and the gear build. That in general works well in hardcore at least. And I'll also discuss some differences in softcore, so if you're building for softcore, there's definitely some things you can do a little bit differently. You don't even have to go full trings too. There's definitely some things you can do a bit differently. That being said though, you're definitely going to be much more at risk of dying without that 25% DR, so talk about it though. That's pretty solid, man. Look at all this physical resistance. Wow. I think this is magic damage. Another great thing about Bastion Keep, besides the size of the corridors, of course, is also the fact there's not a lot of magic resistance, if at all, in here. Monsters really don't tank you very well at all. Even with 6% magic sword, which is what this map has, it's still pretty easy. Simply because they don't have enough magic resistance to back it up. Ghosts are actually a little bit magic resistant too, but they don't have a lot of HP, so it's perfectly fine. I love ghosts because ghosts have the rune, charm, gem, jewel drop odds, specifically runes. You can drop high runes pretty easily compared to most monsters because they can't drop weapons or armor type items. Alright, here we go. Let's go. Spirit's doing almost 9,000. I know it doesn't show the spirit on the screen because I'm not using it very often, but it is, it's doing more damage than spear or teeth. But it only hits one enemy at a time, so it's mostly a boss killing thing, or if there's a really tanky monster, it's like right in our way. This is how I'm using it. Definitely want those gems for crafting if possible. But yeah, like I said, Horazon's Memory's also got pretty decent corridors, but it can be a little bit harder to hit everything with your teeth because the map actually prevents your damage from going over the walls, like the invisible walls. And Ruins of Vizjun has a really tough boss fight for this character. But overall, it's pretty nice. This is a really good map. If you get a whole bunch of Bastion keeps on this character, you're good to go, honestly. I'll also do a Phlegethon though to show off a good tier 2. And as for tier 3s, make sure you have crazy good gear on hardcore before you start messing around in tier 3s. I don't know if I'm really there yet. It's only been about a week, and we also lost one of my characters, so we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna demo those, but some that come to mind that are especially bad are River of Blood. Don't do any magic immune monster maps. Any magic immune maps or maps with magic immunes in them are probably gonna be pretty bad. So if there's ever any like common magic immune spawns, those are not ideal. Even Ruins of Vizjun has those Unravelers, which is also not ideal. Vizjun! Alright. But Plegethon's pretty good. Blood Moon's also decent. Some of those other maps are decent. But I'd say that this map and Plegethon are probably where this character really shine in terms of your maps, just in general. Throne of Insanity also promises to be pretty decent as well. But there's always some resistance issues. What did you clip there, Plegethon? What is that? What is that? Alright, we're gonna have to go over his build, of course, once we do this in Plegethon. We're just gonna show off these maps for a while here, though. You can kind of see how strong you can get in maps. In my build tier video for Season 2 beta testing, I described this build as being an A tier build. I still stand by that. If I get even more plus skills, he's very powerful. He's not as powerful as maybe Trapson and a couple of other builds, like maybe a teched out crossbow Bozon. But overall, it's a very strong build. And any A tier build is definitely worth trying, in my opinion. Which is why we're here playing the character, showing off what he can do. One of the advantages to this character, of course, is that not only can he clear most content in the game, but he can clear it without insanely expensive gear. I have some pretty good gear by this point. Definitely found a lot of good stuff on the Sorceress and on the Necro himself now that has made his gear pretty solid. But that being said, though, I mean, you don't need the craziest gear in the world to make this character strong. Which is definitely one of the advantages of this character. What map would be best for Chain Lightning Trapson? Ancestral Trial, but that's a tier 3. There's a lot of like tier 1s and tier 2s that are also good as well. Plegethon comes to mind as a good tier 2. Trapson in general, as long as you get Death Sentry, is going to be good in Blood Moon, which is also a tier 2. So, both of those maps are going to be very solid in general for the Chain Lightning Sin. If you want to... Oh, nice. That's a very nice Cairn Shard, actually. If you want to graduate... If you want to start in tier 1s, Ruins of Vizjun, of course, is going to be solid for light, chain light, and death sentry. This map, it's got some resistance, but overall, it's probably okay for a chain lightning sin. Just got to make a lot of use of Cloak of Shadows. There's mostly fire immunity in here and physical immunity, so of course there's also like some cold immunity in here as well. There's other things, but for the most part, I'd say a Chain Lightning Sin could do pretty well in here. Horazon's Memory, there's a lot of lightning immunes in Horazon's Memory. I probably wouldn't do that one with the Chain Lightning Sin. I'd probably ignore that one personally. Kind of like I've been ignoring Ruins of Vizjun for the most part. Because there's magic immunes and there's also like the boss fight, which is pretty bad for this character. I don't even think it's doable with less skills than like 35. I don't even think you could do it. Boss fight with this character. The Ruins. Cartographer. Yo, Pete. That's a good XP. We're already well on our way to 91. Good stuff. Once I get 94, at least on this particular setup, skill setup, we get 5 golems, which will give us even more meat shields in the front here. This build operates very well by hitting the enemies from a far range and using the meat shields to eat up all the damage. I have max block on top of that, but which definitely makes sense in this map. So many ranged enemies. So, yeah, if we want to get one of those as well. Also, sometimes you can get swarmed by other dangerous enemies as well. If they do hit you, it's pretty bad. Like those demon steeds there, the sand raiders, those hit really hard. So in general, just a lot of hard-hitting physical damage on this map. There we go. Okay. Sometimes I can use Amp if I want my monsters to, I want my revives to concentrate on one target even more effectively. Teeth is just so good in these corridors, though. It's so good. So amazing. Clickables, Worldstone Shard Heaven. While your revives are catching up, or if your Blood Warp's on cooldown, make sure to hit those clickables. Very, very good stuff there. Wow, that's pretty good. Careful when you see an aura, because there's Hell Temptresses. Those can hit very hard with auras. So make sure to range the Temptresses if you see an aura from even farther. Don't get too aggressive. It's dangerous. That's usually the best way to play this. What's up, Rob Hill? How you doing? Hunkus Pocus. Would you recommend swapping to Chain Lightning from Wake of Fire if you have Infinity? Honestly, Chain Lightning felt amazing with Infinity when I tested it out in the beta testing video. If you missed that video, by the way, it's exclamation S2 tiers, TI ERS. In the Twitch chat, post that if you want to check that one out. Yeah, no, Chain Lightning Sentry, I rated an S tier build, especially for the late game. Really strong build. It might even be stronger than Wake of Fire in a lot of those tier 3 maps. Once you get like full gear, highly recommend it. Based on testing, that appears to be the case. It's always hard to like know for sure though. Unless you play the build for hundreds of hours, sometimes it's hard to tell. There we go. Bone Spear pierces. Bone Spear's got a nice pierce. It's very good. Okay. Infinity breaks some things for fire. It breaks almost nothing for cold. And it breaks most stuff for lightning, so it breaks most lightning immunes. So Infinity tends to be very effective on the lightning character. You're absolutely right. I almost don't even think it's worth on a cold character. On a fire character, it depends on the map. It is worth on a fire character most of the time. But then again, if you have a lot of negative, if you have like a lot of negative res on your build, it's fine. Alright, so we're coming up on the boss here. Boss for this character, so long as you have max cold res, isn't too scary. At least I don't think so. This is one of those scenarios here where if you amp him, and then let your golems hit him, and then just throw out some bone spirits. Jonathan the Damned is honestly probably one of the easiest bosses in the game for this character. No problem. Very safe. Just gotta make sure you don't let him land on you. If he lands on you, he'll do a lot of damage, but make sure you have your cold res at least. Does Ice Barrage and can also hit pretty hard with Joust too, but so if you have some DR it'd be nice. I have Bone Armor, so I'm fine. Can also hit pretty hard with the Orb as well. Alright. There you go. There's a nice Bastion keep there. As you can see, that was a pretty quick Bastion keep. I don't think we did all of it. Looks like definitely some more potential here. Maybe get a few more kills in. We're gonna go do Phlegethon just to show you guys a tier 2 map on him. Which in my opinion is his best tier 2. I did try out the other ones. It's not incredible. But yeah, I'll Plegethon also has that perfect size corridor. It's really nice. Very nice map for this character. Yeah, Infinity does help on a fire trap sin. A lot of monsters have fire resistance, including cows. That being said, though, if you have a lot of negative res, even though it only works at a half, you might be able to skip Infinity because there aren't a lot of fire immunes that can be broken, as was mentioned before. Infinity is super good for breaking immunes, not quite as effective, nearly as effective as it was in LOD for reducing resistances. So if you have other gear that reduces resistances by a lot, you never need Infinity. That being said though, if you can break fire immunes in the area you're trying to farm, very effective. If you don't want to put a lot of negative fire res gear on your character, Infinity is very effective still on a fire character. On a cold character like a Cold Sork, Infinity is almost useless though because you can't break almost any cold immunes at all. and you already get 65 pierce off of mastery. So you're almost piercing almost every monster that is not cold immune to 0 anyway. And with just a couple of cold facets, you almost would never need infinity on a cold sorceress. So that's a good example of that.
Good afternoon.
Almost would never need that. Ooh, we found an Ohm. Congrats, KO. You know, I found Vex, Mal, and Is so far today, but that is higher than any rune I found today. Very nice rune, sir. Alright, so I'm gonna go do Plegethon now, just to show you guys, or however you pronounce the thing. And then we're gonna go over the build. Alright, +3 Elders. That's not bad. I might keep that to give it away. I don't know, 100%. That's a +5 Karen shard, though. Man, if I can get +6 on that. Oh, you know, we didn't do cows, Syphilo. I forgot. You know what? Before I do Phlegethon, let's do cows. It's another LOD area. It's not amazing for this character because, once again, the teeth don't pierce. That's a pretty big deal. Bone Spear is going to be better in some cases, but I'm going to show you guys here in a second. Blood Moon is also not amazing. I mean, it's also a cow level. Cows just have a lot of HP, and teeth just doesn't quite hit that hard. But that's why like Bastion Keep is so much better. Or a map like Plegethon where the monsters don't have absurd HP. But I'll show you guys in a second here. I definitely wouldn't rate those maps the best maps for this character for sure. Let's see here. I can definitely showcase cows though. This room is always going to be near the path. I got a little distracted there. Alright, where is it? Okay, there it is. Go! Get him! We'll do one cow run and then we'll do Plegethon, then we'll go over the build. And that is it for a Bone Necro. I hope you guys learned some things about the Bone Necro once we get done with this video today, and hope you guys enjoy the rest of the farm and are enjoying your Project Diablo 2 Season 2 farming, whether you're on hardcore or softcore. I mean, I definitely consider myself a hardcore player online at this point, but definitely still love my softcore content and my softcore community. Okay, here we go. Put him there. So as you can see, the cows are very tanky. Even with almost 5k teeth, level 43 teeth, it's not that effective. Like, there are builds that level this area far more effectively. That being said, though, it's not horrible. You can definitely do it. I'll show it because it's not horrible, you know? It's not, like, awful to do this. One thing about the Bone Necro in here is that at least it has enormous range. The range is pretty poggers, not gonna lie. You can hit huge packs of cows, especially if you like gather them up like this. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that ground beef! Be setting some records here. Put him down. Yeah, but he's pretty good at cows, though. I mean, you could do it. It might even be better than Summon Necro at cows, but I think some builds definitely outstrip this for sure. There we go. Cow moat. Reviving archers being any good. I like meat shields in front of me. For the most part, I don't really think you want to revive a ranged monster. You want them to be in front of you, and you want them to take up the damage, so that you're not getting stuck in block frames. Or, you know, just taking damage and possibly dying, especially on hardcore, it's a concern, or if you're going to 99 on softcore. So you don't want that at all, you know, you don't want that. Don't mini-maps have immunes that are broken by infinity? A lot of immunes can be broken by infinity in maps, but once again, lightning immune is definitely the best one, most likely one to be broken. Wind hammer, okay. I don't know if I want to pick that up, but wind hammer can be pretty good. Someone might want to use the wind hammer. Oh yeah, if you have extra currency, Infinity is great, but you know, honestly, I wouldn't prioritize Infinity as much as maybe been prioritized in the past, unless you have a lightning character, then it's almost necessary. You can break so many lightning immunes. It's not quite as important as it used to be. Yeah, Phoenix and Skillers I think are more important than Infinity, at least on a Fire Sin. I would definitely not prioritize Infinity that much. Also, Infinity is very expensive. I mean, it's 7 high runes if you're on softcore, it's 6 if you're on hardcore. It's expensive. Very expensive item. And even if you're playing in a group, if you die on hardcore, you can't even loot Infinity because it's under Mercenary. Oof. It's a lot of investment. There's no way to get it back though. Also, if you're in a group, you can just have a paladin maybe run Conviction or something. Ruby, diamond. Okay. Alright, here we go. Elbow line, no bovins, let's go. Is Phoenix plus Fire Lizards more damage than 2 Fire Lizards? I mean, most cases 2 Fire Lizards is going to be better, but that being said, if you don't have a lot of negative res elsewhere in your build, like from Infinity or Rising Sun or Hellmouth, you're going to be doing more damage to the Phoenix because you really want to get those monster reses down to 0 in this mod. As close as you possibly can. Some monsters have a lot of fire res, so getting as much negative res as possible out there can be a good idea. Yeah, we're a crap ton of facets. Yeah, exactly. Facets, 2 Fire Lizards, Rising Sun, Hellmouth. You know, there's a lot of options for sure. And you can definitely get a lot of sockets on gear in this mod. So, all right, that's an 11 cold res. I don't think we need that at the moment. Also found a Triangle's armor. That could be better than this one. We'll see. However, what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to demo a pretty decent Phlegethon map here. Nothing too crazy. Your res are not amazing though in this map. Not ideal. So as you can see though, this is a very ideal map for this character here. Rip my cow revive, rip him! What's up, Reckless? Okay, here we go. As you can see, though, the width of the area is almost the same width as Teeth. So Teeth is really good. Wave after wave of Teeth. Really strong. If you're playing hardcore, make sure to avoid the charger zombies, though. Or, ultra powered up spear cats. Those things hurt a lot. The siege beasts also hurt a ton if they get in melee range. Very careful here. And get those Moon Lords when you can find them. I didn't put any points in a Desecrate because it would have taken an extra 3 more points. I don't think that's worth it. Yeah, Bone Armor doing some work there. Blocking most of the damage. Yeah, Phlegethon's solid. Can range the boss too. We might get to the boss and then go over the cure. Yeah, Mercenary getting wrecked there. Oh, there's another Blood Moon map. Sweet! Yeah, one of the best areas in the game to find maps or other maps, believe it or not. That's what's been changed for Season 2. Of course, they're also decent to find in areas like Travincal from ghost-type monsters because they can't drop armor and weapons once again, and from clickables that also tend to favor runes, charms, gems, and jewels, and those types of items in general, like maps, Worldstone shards, and even puzzle boxes, even though those are super rare. They're starting a new hardcore character. Does he want me to run with him, or are you just saying that? I am doing awesome. Oh man, really? So, did you actually have that crash bug happen to you? Yeah, there's definitely a problem. There's definitely a crash bug out there. I've definitely warned people, especially on hardcore, about it. I don't know. I really don't know what causes it, though. And that sucks, Vitalism. Damn, dude. Yeah. Almost as bad as my level 98, I mean 89 Sorceress there. Yep, that's what happened to me too. That's the crash bug. Wow, so you died to it too. Make sure to send the .txt for the error to Senpai and Co. Very bad error there. I don't know what's causing it, but it definitely happens. These monsters are maybe not super ideal to go up against. They seem a little magic resistant, but you can hit them pretty hard with bone spear though. Run into any real problems there. Honestly, the FHR lock effect from Teeth is probably one of the best things about this build. If I had to choose a couple things that I think are amazing about this build, it's definitely one of them. The fact that it like FHR locks like almost all the monsters right in front of you. You get stuck in a permanent like safety dance and they just can't move. I dreamed in for are you gonna use Conviction? If so, Doom's fine. But if you use Resist Lightning, you can have a Conviction on the Mercenary, so you can use Infinity Fly. Depends on the approach you're going. Depends on how much wealth you have, too, to really, Are you gonna make a new character, Vitalism, or that kind of, dampen the mood? I mean, I know it was pretty hardcore for me, but I'm still playing anyway. I know very well it could happen again. I can only hope that maybe I won't take that much damage, because I have my minions here. So maybe they'll get out in front of me and protect me. But there's no guarantees. Protect me while I'm DCing out. Says you can join. Oh, cool. I don't know if I want to make a new character at the moment, though. Now that I think about it, not yet. Like, I'm gonna make new characters, but I like to get, like, farmed up first. Like, I like to have a bit more items. And then it makes it a bit easier for me to, you know, start actually, like, getting the gear for it. He knows what I mean. Okay, sounds fair enough. It's definitely an approach to the problem. Just roll softcore for now if you just want to play the game. Not worry about losing everything, so... to nonsense, basically. Complete and utter nonsense. As you can see, though, he's pretty strong in this map. Yeah, some of my favorite things about him are his spread. In fact, he does not need insane gear. His damage output in certain maps, especially ones that have these narrow corridors. The fact that he circumvents most immunes because he's a magic damage character. And he has good survivability because, like any Necromancer, you can get revives, at least with 1 point, like I've done here. You can also get golems. A lot of nice shields. He's got a lot of really good things going for him. A lot of things going for him. Yeah, that's because of maps, Reckless Abandon, but it's also there's also some other reasons that is too. There's some other reasons that's the case too, though. Yeah, so you can go dual element and do players 1 vanilla just like you can do on LOD. But for the most part, there's a couple reasons why dual elements or hybrids aren't as much of a thing in PD2. One, most builds in PD2 require more synergies in order to get to max power. Which means a lot of builds just simply don't work until you get a certain number of points into them. Most Sorceress builds work like that now. Most Sorceress builds require way more synergies, which makes hybridization a lot less attractive. The other thing is mapping. Hybrid builds in general, because of course the more synergies are required in most cases, don't really favor speccing into multiple elemental types. Because the maps have high HP mobs. They cannot be leveled very easily with multiple elements. Alright chat, we just found a unique ring. Right, so in LOD it's a little different, whereas, you know, it's efficient for your skill points in a lot of cases to hybridize, but it's also efficient because LOD areas tend to favor those player 1 areas as well. Whereas PD2 maps, not really a thing. This character is also very versatile, is that he also hits enemies higher HP in a line very well. He kills bosses well with Bone Spirit at a higher range. He's got a lot of versatility as well. There's so much versatility with the magic damage and how many different ways he can employ it. Bone Spirit, Teeth, Bone Spirit. Really such an awesome build. Alright, let's go find the boss here. I think we've shown enough of this. The boss is probably down here. Meteor does a lot of physical damage, so if you have good fire res and physical resistance or bone armor, you should be fine, but you can also just off-screen him as well with Bone Spirit. That's how powerful Bone Spirit is. You really don't even have to get that up close. It's one of the reasons why this is one of those top-tier builds for the Necromancer. So many cool things you can do.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken.
Come on, chat, let's get more guesses on the unique ring. Could be any unique ring in the game. Monteal, Natal Ring, Dwarf Star, Ravenfrost, Carrion Wind, Nature's Peace, SOJ, BK Ring, and Wisp Projector. Duck Farts. You have faith? Hell yeah, let's go. Get him. Alright, I'm going to say Carrion Wind. Dwarf Star. You know, I guessed that for the last ring, and I was wrong, so then I didn't guess it again. Should have stuck with my first guess, though. It's not too bad. I could try to roll an even better roll on my Dwarf Star, though. We could roll it in the cube. Dwarf Stars are pretty good to corrupt if possible. You have some extra rolls. Oh wow, look at that. I got double hit there. The Charger Zombies, they took out my bone armor, and they dropped me to like around 600, 700 health there in one fell swoop. Very careful. I let myself get a little surrounded there. Being a little bit lazy, I thought, it's not gonna matter. I got them FHR locked, but he actually did end up getting a charge off there. Sometimes you don't want to be that lazy. Oh my god. Wow. So many. Okay. Getting some nice maps in here too. I think the only map I haven't found now is Ancestral Trial. I don't know if I found that one yet. So many different maps can drop now. I've actually found a number of Blood Moons now. Guess I was just getting bad RNG the previous days. Alright. Normally he's either in this top corner here, which he's not. So that means he's all the way down there, possibly. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we gotta go all the way down there. We almost did the whole Phlegethon anyway. Actually, it looks like we're about to. Alright, well that's okay. It's good to do the whole Phlegethon, the whole Bastion Key, just to show this character has consistent performance. That's very good on these two maps. My top two picks for the maps for this character, at least. Oh, you having fun back there? Yep, that's it's been happening a lot. I've definitely lost half of a map, quarter of a map many times, 3/4 of a map. Yeah, the DC issues are definitely annoying, Jayhawk, for sure. There you go. Baby, 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 baby. You're on softcore, Shiori.
I can't carry.
I know I don't want to bully you for being on softcore, but you're scared to open a map on softcore. Come on. I mean, on hardcore. Oh, you don't want to lose it. Oh. Okay, okay. I was gonna say. Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's not too bad. If you have a decent number of maps, don't be afraid to lose one. It's not that bad. So, maps are a little scary on hardcore, though. You gotta make sure you got the appropriate tanking stats for sure. You're gonna have problems really fast. All it takes is some bad spawns. Down and out. Yeah, man, come on. The servers are evil. Yeah, I think it's worse than last season, personally. I know some people have said better, but I don't know. By now, I think they had some of those really bad kinks worked out. It's okay. It's just server issues and just some crash bugs. If they can get those kinks worked out, it's not a big deal. Alright, here we go. Yeah, but I think it has to do with teleport too, except people have also gotten the crash bug when talking to vendors, so I don't know. I don't even know if it's teleport. F-E-E. Oh man, that's those corpses, man, they hit so hard. You just saw how much damage I took there. Be very careful around those things. I try to not let them get near me, but I was doing something there. You can see, though, you could die very easily if you let too many of those charge you at once. Charger zombies are no joke. Be very careful with those if you choose to do this map. Your loot filter? Loot filter? Loot filter causing a crash bug? It's not my loot filter though. Other people are using it. A lot of people are using it. Ohm Rune! Oh, wow. Well, this is why we do maps, guys. Look at that density. Look at that density, man. Wow. Oh my gosh. Exactly. That's the reaction. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's the loot filter. It wouldn't be the loot filter, though. Why would the loot filter cause the crash? I didn't have any items on the screen when I crashed there. In that Travincal spot there. People have crashed with the same crash bug in town as well. So it can't be a loot filter issue. There were 0 items on the screen when I died. Loot filter, if a loot filter somehow caused a crash, you would expect there to be an item on the ground. Maybe. There wasn't a single item to be found. Well, I know, but I think we can rule it out pretty easily, though. We can rule it out by the fact that if it was loot filter caused, there would have to be items on the ground. Shouldn't you save and quit for Ohm? I should. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna go get to the boss though here. I'm so close to the boss though, man. I don't want to go back in the game. Wow, Ohm Rune. That's actually the first Ohm Rune of Season 2 for us here. I know, you said you were doing some big projects. How were they, man? I bet you made some tasty money. When you work hard, you make tasty money. Good stuff. Yeah, man, we just found out Hyrule. You here for that? Oh, I gotta be careful. I'm also gonna want to transfer after this. I have too many good items on the character right now. Multiple Hyrunes at the moment, actually. I don't want to leave the game. Alright, so we're getting up to the boss here. Just want to demo how well he does the boss. He does the boss pretty well. Necromancers in general, though, don't have as many issues with this boss. So many nice meat shields. Even with a summoner, that's the case. Even with a CE Necro, anything. Necros in general are... They might not have much HP, but in general they're pretty safe against bosses. Wow. 175k. People lose so much doing that, man. So much. It's crazy. I've seen the craziest swings down there, man. Alright, once again, after the boss, we're gonna go over the skills, the stats, and the gear. Just the overall build and approaches to the build. Now that we've kind of gone over his areas and did a lot of gameplay demo here. Okay, here we go. Bar and pub. What kind of barb would you prefer for hardcore? Throw barb, 100%. Throw barb is so good on hardcore, it's so good. You do need some decent throwing weapons, but once you get him, he just tears. I don't know if they fix the bounces necessarily, but the damage it does is insane. No matter what they didn't fix or did fix. I don't know, man. Whirlwind or no balls, true. True, no balls if you don't go whirlwind, but he asked, you know, what would be ideal for hardcore. Ideal is throw barb. Whirlwind is hard mode in hardcore always, no matter what. Because you can't heal when you're in whirlwind animation, so it's... There are things that can kill you in that small span of time, so you gotta be very careful about how you gear your character and what you decide to challenge. It's not an easy character. So yeah, it's definitely a hard mode. As you can see, though, we can just hit right outside the range. Ran out of mana potions, though, so that's kind of lame. Anyway, good stuff. Pretty easy, right? Golems and whatnot take all the damage. Easy stuff going on there. You find something, insta-save and exit? Yup, for sure. Alright, guys. Now we're about to go over his build. So I can describe why we made the choices we did and why he's very effective for hardcore, but also for softcore. Bone Necromancer. Really fun stuff. Glug! Wow, Count Pogula? You already lost 3 characters? Damn. What happened to that one? You died in hell? Did you have your max res? What did you fight? You died with the traps in. That's rough. Alright, so... let's go over his stats here. So... in general, you want max block on the Bone Necro, especially for hardcore. On softcore, you don't have to go max block. Matter of fact, it might even be better not to, and maybe to run like a Spirit Monarch or something that gives you even more FCR. Because otherwise, you have to use... well, to be fair, this gives me plenty of FCR, but no matter what, you'd have to use something with like high FCR. If you use like a Spirit Monarch here, you can go different options like Viper Magi. And you can make it even easier to hit 125 FCR here. But in general, I'm hitting 75 FCR right now. And max block is just solid for hardcore. Once you have max block and bones and bone armor, you tank really well. I was even surviving some full like damage crit charges from chargers. So I can survive a lot with this, which is good. That's what you want. Even though it doesn't seem like I have a lot of HP, solo mapping is possible because of max block. But after I go max block and get enough strength for my gear, which is 106 for full train, put the rest into vitality. As you'll notice here, I have max res. You look at my advanced stats here, you have good resistances. You could have better resistances at some point. Once again, this is only like a week plus into the hardcore reset, and I lost a character on top of that, so I don't have the best gear. But the key is to making sure your res looks pretty solid. Make sure it's a little stacked if possible, so Conviction doesn't hit that hard, especially in hardcore. You'll notice my damage reduction is 25%, but the Mercenary, and at a higher level, he'll even have 34%. He has 9, so right now he has 8. Mercenary is giving me 8%, so I'm hitting 33 damage reduction. Can definitely pump it up even higher with certain corruptions and other items as well, so you can definitely get it to around 40, 45 pretty easily on this character. Right now, though, I'd say like anywhere above 30 is at least decent. It's definitely tanking pretty well. Also have getting over the 26 FHR breakpoint. One thing to note about FHR is that it's more important when you have no block. And when you have max block, it becomes less important. That being said, though, if you're still taking crazy amounts of elemental damage, or if you end up, still taking a ton of damage in your health, FHR definitely helps you recover and can save your life. So maybe having a really bad frame is probably not a good idea. That being said, though, Full Trains itself gives you most of the FHR that you could possibly want on the Tring Helm. I'm just using this for FHR as well, so I can get that 26 frame. And then we have 205 Magic Find. Solid stuff. And then, of course, FCR is 75. Yes, you can get 125. What you're going to need on hardcore, especially with full Trings, to get 125, is you're going to need some FCR corruptions. Maybe FCR rings as well. I do have an FCR corruption on this Bone Shade that I got lucky on already. That being said, I need some more, so I'm not quite there, but you can definitely get more DPS with even more FCR, so we're not quite there yet. So it definitely get better. Definitely get better there. 100%. One thing to note is that overall in my build tier video for Season 2, or Season 2 beta, when I tested all the builds, I did rate Bone Necro in the mid-late game as being an A tier build. It's a solid build. Anything A or higher, I totally recommend playing in Season 2.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
This build's pretty monstrous overall. It's got a lot of potential. I showed it off in all the areas today. It doesn't even have 50 teeth. If you can get like 7+ more skills and 125 FCR, or even just like 4+ more skills and 125 FCR, which is possible with certain items and corruptions, just imagine how crazy strong he will actually get by the very end game. So we're not even there yet, and he's strong. I would say he's S tier for cost efficiency, though. Very good stuff, cost efficiency wise. But let's go over the skills though real quick. So you got 1 point to revive. This season you get 3 revives with just 1 point into it. I think it's a great 1 point wonder. They tank like crazy. They're such amazing tanks. More tanks the better. The less the mercenary dies, the less he gets targeted, the less you get targeted. It's really good stuff. So 1 point, I think that's pretty solid in the summon tree. Gotta put 1 point into Clay Golem. Tring Armor is giving me Blood Warp, so I think I'm good there. I'm not prioritizing it because you don't really need to prioritize it, especially for mapping. That being said, though, if you do want to go softcore approach, prioritizing Blood Warp over Meat Shields might be fine. That being said, though, Meat Shields are still good for softcore, so don't go too hard on this usually, but Blood Warp is nice for more mobility. Just having 1 point into it with all skills, though, is usually going to be a decent approach. Golem Mastery, maxing this out. So what I want to do is get 20 Golem Mastery by the time you hit level 93 or 94. I'm level 90, so I'm not there yet. Once I get to 93, 94, though, I'll have 5 Golems. Once again, more Meat Shields. Very effective Meat Shields. And it helps them all get tankier the more you level this up as well. So every 5 skills, of course, gives you an extra golem. Good stuff. If you have any extra points left over once you hit like level 95 to 99, you can go extra points into Clay Golem if you want to boost their damage a bit, in case you want them to do some more damage themselves. There's also some other options as well. You can also tech more into Revive. You can also start leveling up Bone Wool if you want to level up your Bone Armor. And you can also level up Amplified Damage if you want slightly more effective physical reduction for when you're killing bosses. So there's definitely some options once you get to like level 95 for sure. And that being said, I also got 1 point to Amplify on this build. You can see that. Even with just negative 12 physical resistance, it's pretty nice against bosses when you have a mercenary, you have 3 revives, and you have, you know, anywhere between 1 and 5 golems, depending on what level you are. Good stuff. And then, of course, this is the easy part. Just max out all of the bone synergies for the build. That's all I gotta do. All the synergies, bone armor, bone spear, and bone spirit, and teeth. Level up these 2 as well. And these are all used for the different scenarios I described throughout the video. Remember, this is single target. This is for monsters that are in a very narrow corridor, usually stacked up behind one another in a line. It does more damage than Teeth in a line, 100%. And Teeth doesn't do the most damage, but it has the biggest spread by far. And it's amazing for most maps like Plegethon and Bastion Keep when you have those perfect sized corridors. You just hit all those monsters all at once, and you can gun them down pretty fast, which is very effective for the build. Now, at the end here, at what point do you need for next revive? I think you need a significant number of points to revive. I think golems are better because with revives, you usually have to get a specific revive for it to be really effective at tanking. I think it's better just to have golems that are instantly replaceable. So you can go more points into revive versus golem. That's kind of a preference thing. But I don't know. I personally like more points in Golem Mastery to get the golems. I like golems a bit more, I think. It's definitely a little bit of a preference. You can further follow Hysterio as well. Or Hysteria 0. But here we go. So this is our gear so far. So this is the gear I kind of built him with. In general, it's a magic damage build. So really, the only kinds of things that are going to help are like Holy Freeze and Meditation. So for your weapon, you're probably just going to want, for the most part, I mean, you have a little bit of physical damage, but for the most part, it's mostly just mana regen. Mana regen's amazing on this build. If you have Meditation, you have a decent mana pool. You don't drain your mana fast at all, and you hardly use that many mana pots, so especially if you get some MPK as well. So I recommend Meditation. So I also, since I'm playing hardcore,
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this
Since I'm playing hardcore, I have Defiance Aura. Defiance Aura gives me, like I said, somewhere between 5 and 9% physical damage reduction for free. And it also gives me defense as well. You can see that here, that my defense gets boosted to a huge amount. It goes from 1,700 to almost 6,000 defense. So that Act 2 Defiance Mercenary, plus the Insight is probably definitely the way to go. On Softcore, you could justify using an Act 1 Mercenary, but that's going to be a little bit more dangerous, less tanking. You can use the Insight version, you can use the Vigor version, and you can put the Meditation version and put a Harmony Bow on your Mercenary. You can definitely do a few different things, but on Hardcore, I think there's really only one option. There's Act 2 Defiance with Meditation. Laying of Hands. So, this is just a attack speed gloves. Getting that attack speed up is pretty nice on any Mercenary. Since this is a great poleaxe, if you get 20, and then 30 attack speed, you get a pretty decent frame with a great poleaxe. So, I'm going to use a gold wrap there just to boost his MF. MF isn't bad on a Mercenary. When he kills things, he adds his MF to your MF, but only if he gets the kill. He has to get the last hit. That being said, though, he does extra damage to demons. He's got an elite polearm. Definitely found some good things so far. And of course, he has dual res on this too, so he has nice stacked res. I don't have a Fortitude yet, but I am using a really cool item I found off of Andariel, an Eth Duriel Shell. You can see that from the item level that it was from Andariel 75. Cannot be frozen. F was found by the sorceress pretty shortly before she died of that unfortunate bug. We corrupted it for max poison. It's pretty cool. Almost has 2,000 defense. Cannot be frozen. Any huge defense armor for a mercenary with cannot be frozen or res or damage, usually going to be good choices there. MDR, DR, that kind of stuff. And of course, the Life Leech Helm with res and life, and I put some random attack speed jewels in it because that's kind of all I have for there at the moment. And then, you know, MF Corruption Goblin Toast, so more damage, more flat damage reduction. Just good stuff in general. All these stats are pretty good for the Mercenary. Ideally, you might even want a Noscoil if you want your Mercenary to do more damage. Or you can have like attack speed corruptions, and then you can use attack speed corruption String of Ears for damage reduction. There's definitely a lot of things you can do here for sure. You can get Templars, you can get Fortitude, you can get Andes. We just haven't really put on those items yet. We're still pretty new. He's still pretty he's doing pretty fine though. He's not dying very often, so that's the key. Lost Primos Z, thank you so much. ZZ, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Cult of Xander's Day. You could make an Insight Iron Golem. You're risking the Iron Golem dying. Iron Golems are very squishy without lots of point investment, Pinocene. And also, you because of a bug right now, only one Iron Golem can be persist throughout the games. So when you save and exit, only one Iron Golem is going to be saved. So, I don't know. I kind of don't like Iron Golems right now. I feel like in maps they're kind of squishy unless you put a lot of points into them. And they're just unreliable in general. I mean, unless you want to like use up insights constantly, you could do that. I mean, you can go Act 1 Mercenary with Vigor, and then you can go like Insight Iron Golem. That's an idea. But then once again, you're not getting Defiance Aura, which is pretty huge for hardcore. Anyway, let's go over the core gear. Bone Shade. I got a unfortunate one socket puzzle box here on this one, but that's okay because it rolled extra FCR. I can't really make use of this extra FCR yet, but when we get once we get closer to 125 FCR, which is my goal, this is gonna make a lot more sense. It's kind of a decent Bone Shade. Really, it was only decent in the sense that it rolled 7 teeth, but it rolled 10 FCR, so that's kind of cool. Bone Shade is probably best in slot though for this build period, because you can't even get 7 teeth with a crafted bone wand. You can only get up to 6 teeth. And on top of that, I don't even know if you can get that staff mod on unless you get a really low level orb, because teeth is a level 0 skill. So that can be a problem. Also, you can also get up to 5 to Bone Spirit. This one only has 4, but you can also get up to 4 to Bone Spirit. So it also has a ton of FCR. Very good for this build for sure. There's definitely other options though. You can also use Hodo. You can also use crafted ones. But overall, I think Bone Shade is very solid. And then, of course, there's the full Tringle set. I got some nice 2-socket corruptions on these already. Got some Fire's corruptions on these. This one literally is just an ED corruption, so it's pretty lame. But overall, it's just a standard Tring set for the time being. Good stuff. Tring set's amazing for hardcore, but it's just amazing in general. Gives you so many good stats. All res, mana, so your mana doesn't. It gives you mana regeneration as well, so your mana doesn't drain too quickly. It gives you all skills. It gives you P and V skills on the shield as well, so you get at least 5 skills with the full set. Gives you cannot be frozen on the belt. More mana, FCR. More FCR on the shield once you have the full set. It's just so good. It's a really solid set now that you don't have to turn into a ghoul in PD2. And I highly recommend it for anyone who's just starting out especially, to get a really solid Necromancer going on PD2. For any build, any Necromancer can honestly use this build. But there's other builds like Summoner that benefit from more like summon-oriented max skilling type things. That being said though, really solid stuff. Alright. You can up the Treng's armor. I don't think that's wise though. I think it would still require more strength than I am currently using. I think so. I think 106 strength there. I think if I upgrade it, I think it would still require more strength as a shadow plate. So I'm pretty sure that's not worth the strength investment. And then yeah, it's 222 strength, 40%. So that's around what, 130 something strength. Yeah, so that's gonna be like 30 more strength investment. That would be nice for my defense. 140-ish. Yeah, that's not worth it. That's a lot of vitality points you're losing there. I mean, you could argue it's worth it, but I already don't have a ton of health on this character, so even though my defense would go higher and it might make me feel better most of the time, all it would take is a really bad hit, and I might just die because I don't have the vitality. Alright, so we also have a 3 P&B Ami. Pretty standard stuff, honestly, especially for the beginning of ladder, but no, we can get FCR in this, we can get res. I mean, we have res as a corruption, but we can definitely get improved stats. I found this, though, with the Sorceress, and I corrupted it, though. Very nice, almost perfect energy 3 P&B Ami, so that's kind of cool. CTA, you want a 2-skill shield here, but I only have a 1-skill shield right now, but I have a 6 bow. Very nice roll. We have a video for that one as well. I just found this yesterday off Diablo. F Waterwalks. Kind of sad about that, but then again, I corrupted it, and it rolled a meth, which is... That is an insane corruption for Waterwalks. It's basically the only thing these boots are missing, period. Except for maybe, like, more res. But it has max res. So, this is an amazing pair of boots. That block rate is insanely good. Especially when there's no more block rate on my build unless I decide to sacrifice more vitality points for a shale here. I don't know if that's really worth it. Having that block rate is good, that fast run walk, the dex for the max block, MF, crazy good stuff. That being said, even though it's ethereal, it's probably going to last a long time. Hasn't lost a single durability point playing all day today. And I think that's because I have max block, I have shields, I have meat shields. Boots don't tend to take durability damage in general, so... That being said, though, you can see, though, I've definitely taken some durability hits here. See, we have 2 durability hits on those 2 pieces of gear. The helm and the armor are the most likely, though, to take durability hits, period, though. So, it's interesting to show, though. That being said, we can also use the personalization trick. We can upgrade them before that. So there's definitely ways we can keep these boots alive. And in this season, you can even use a Zod and TP scroll to revive it. So really, really cool boots, though. This is kind of not great. It's just a 27 Angel with 10 Strength Corruption. It's basically 27 MF and 20 life. It's not bad. It's got some MDR as well. Skill rings, especially like FCR rings, are going to be more ideal. Like skill and FCR would be ideal once we get 125 FCR going. But MF is pretty good to put here. Life is good to put here. I'm just kind of boosting my HP as well. The character doesn't have a lot of HP. So since I don't have like lifer PNB GCs, I'm really trying to get that HP up. I really highly recommend it. Also, the chance of blocking on a max block character, also solid. We don't need Ravenfrost because, or any Canopy Frozen because we already have it on the Train Belt. So those are pretty much solid rings. You can definitely go for better things once we get better things later in the season. And then of course, Gheeds, you just found that doing this playthrough here. Very high Gheeds. I like this Gheeds a lot. Have an old res GC here. I do want another PNB skiller though. Right now I have 7. 8 PNB skillers, a Gheeds, and usually an Annihilus and a Torch Charm. It's going to be the full maxed out build, but right now we're just using some nice lifers, res charms, things that are shoring up our res issues if they do exist anywhere, and life issues overall. So overall, yeah, the character is level 90 now. On hardcore, we've definitely come back strong after that stupid Sork death that we could not control whatsoever. Hopefully that doesn't happen to this character, but hope you guys enjoyed today's overview and showcase of a Bone Necro on Season 2 PD2. He's still not in his latest stages. He's in his mid-stage, I'd say, is like mid-late stages. But once we get more gear for him, you know, we can get better bone shades, we can get better rings, we can get, you know, better shield and, you know, better GCs and Annie and Torch, and eventually once we get to around 47, 48 teeth, and we get to around you know, 1.4k, 1.5k life, and maybe even a bit more DR and a bit more MF as well with more sockets, this character is going to be really popping off. But right now he destroys, and you can see that. It's not that expensive as well. You can see it doesn't require Enigma or Infinity. Nothing insanely expensive. Does require some skillers maybe to really get powerful, but you can farm those up like in lower Kurast with runes. Farm them up in the pit. Pit is very easy for this character even without tons of plus skills. And then Chaos. Chaos farming is insanely good as well. And then of course once you start mapping in Bastion Keep and Phlegethon, you're trucking. And we're already at that stage now where we can do that pretty comfortably. Definitely we can get a little stronger for that point in the game, but we're already there, like especially for Bastion Keep. And then once we get even stronger, those tier 3 maps like Throne of Insanity might also be a very good choice. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this overview in general though. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that sub button if you like the video, and check out www.twitch.tv/DerekHumility at Twitch. If you want to watch a stream, we stream every day, 7 days a week, Diablo 2 content. We do LOD and PD2. We'll definitely be doing D2R as well, so hope you guys have a great day. GAG. Alright, over and out. Derek Humility over and out.